Today we're continuing our discussion about foot mechanics and the foot mechanics as it's relevant to athletic ready posture. But we're going to digress for a moment. One of my favorite martial arts action hero is a woman named Michelle Yeoh. She has done martial arts movie forever. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But she recently did a movie, I forgot what it's called because it wasn't that memorable. But in this movie, she takes off her shoes. And when she took off her shoes, I saw something really interesting. She had horrible bunions, absolutely horrible bunions, which makes me even more impressed with the ability that she has to create center and core balance to do all the martial arts things that she does. And but I saw the pattern in which her feet have now deformed into that she probably cannot undo at this point. But if she had along the way done some foot rehab, she wouldn't have had bunions this badly. And her foot is, so bunions are where the big toe actually migrates over across midline and heads laterally. But a secondary function that happens is the foot kind of inverts. Instead of the toes pushing down, the toes start lifting up. So we have to now work on lengthening the toes, and that's what we're going to work on today, is lengthening the toes, separating the toes, and have them work independently as extensions of the toes, but not the force generators of the toes, which is an interesting thought process. So what happens is, if you use and rely on your toes and you don't roll the energy through the balls of your feet, your toes are going to try to strengthen and reinforce each other. And what they do is they start coming together, they start coalescing. And as they coalesce, they can do different things like form hammer toes, they can form bunions, they will start working in pairs instead of independently. And these are devastating things to our balance. And that's why I was watching this woman who had terrible bunions, who wasn't that old. She was probably only in her 30s, walking down the beach, and she was having so much troubles walking on the sand because her toes couldn't spread to engage with the sand. So we're going to work on toe function because it's so important, and it's all about athletic ready posture. And athletic ready posture, as we've talked about, is where the lower body, half the body, acts as a set of springs, and then we upright the body and we activate the riding reflex to create stability. But when the toes break down, we break down the transfer of energy that goes from your toes through that binary switch we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, and doesn't transfer the work to the hips. So we want the toes to engage, and as quickly as it can, send the energy through the knees, that binary switch, and into the hips, so the hips can manage everything that's going on. So that's where we're going to start today. We are going to start with our feet parallel, hips width apart. Here's hips width apart. This is your ASIS. This is your pubic symphysis. Midway in between is hips width apart. So you're pretty narrow in your stance. You're going to push down big toe in the corresponding metatarsal head, outer four toes in the corresponding metatarsal heads, but especially that pinky toe. Feel what it feels like to have all the toes engage as you now drop your heel down. You're creating that tripod in your foot that really holds and anchors you to the earth, not excessively into the heels. You actually should feel, as we talk about next, 1/3 the weight through the balls of your feet, 1/3 the weight through your toes, and 1/3 the weight through your heels. That means 66% of the weight is in the forefoot. So feel what it feels like to transfer weight to the forefoot and instead of having it in your heel. Then we want to put a bend in the knees, slightly externally rotate, and start that spring feeling down in the lower half of the body as you engage your core. First chakra, your pelvic floor goes on. Second chakra sucks in. Third chakra, your upper abs, all stabilize as you draw your shoulder blades down and back and get your head over the top of your pelvic floor. We're going to start out by doing that little squat. You're going to squat down and feel the energy in your quads. You should not feel it in your knees. You should not feel it in your back. You should feel it in your quads, your calves, and your glute max and your abs. These are all the stabilizing, supportive muscles to athletic ready posture. Just feel what it feels like to squat. Make sure those knees are going straight forward and they're not going medial, they're not going lateral. We want to go straight forward. Keep breathing. This is going to tell you what kind of mobility you have at your ankles. If you're tight in your ankles because your calves are tight, you're not going to use your feet properly, you're not going to transfer your knees, the energy that needs to get to your hips. That's why we practice this. Okay, abs are nice and tight. We'll definitely come back to this one. You're gonna do a hip circle. Try to move from your hips and not from your head. Abs are engaged. That first, second, third chakras are on. Keep breathing. Remember, first chakra is your pelvic floor. Second chakra is your lower abs. Third chakra is your upper abs. We're all stabilizing those guys because that's your core. Go in the opposite direction. Keep breathing. Jaws relaxed. You keep doing that. I'm going to check one thing before we go too far. Okay, and this is where we begin. We're going to start out by rolling out the foot. This is part massage, but it's also functional. It's recalibrating your brain to a known size under your foot, which is important so you don't trip, so you know how to elevate your foot to known sized objects. Okay, so your feet are parallel, the ball's underneath your left foot, you're rolling out the bottom of your feet, you're gonna have a slight bend in your knees. We're still in that athletic ready posture, so your abs are on, first, second, third chakras are fired up. You're rolling out the ball of your foot, your toes, the lateral aspect of your foot, and your heels. Really feel what this feels like. These are the gravitational portions of your foot. Now you can go on to the non-gravitational part of your foot as you go to the arch of your foot and even in between your toes. Just go back and forth, just tell your mind this is gravitational, this is non-gravitational. Keep those feet parallel, so important. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy. Roll out your heel, lateral aspect of your foot, your toes, you're breathing. Jaws relaxed. Abs are on super tight because that's what's giving you your stability on this uneven surface. Remember, the pain you're experiencing in your foot has nothing to do with this ball. It has to do with how you use your foot. Okay, we're gonna switch sides before I forget what we did. Feet are parallel, slight bend in the knees, athletic ready posture as you're rolling out your foot. You're doing your footprint first, that's the gravitational portion. And then you're gonna do the non-gravitational portion. Those are arches of your feet, balls of your, in between your toes. Remember, the pain you're feeling in your foot has nothing to do with this ball. It has to do with how you use your body and foot during the week. Jaws relaxed. Smiles are up. And you're breathing. Roll out anything that feels sore, because it shouldn't be sore at all. Notice if it refers pain elsewhere in your body, like your knees or your abdomen, which is normal. But it's also giving the indicator why those parts of your bodies are stressed out. Switch sides again, ball goes under the ball of your foot, your heel is down now, abs are nice and tight. We are gonna curl our toes around the ball, and then you're gonna lift your toes up. As your toes curl down, they're coming together, and as you lift up, your toes separate. Together, separate. Your toes should easily be able to do this because this is a normal function of the foot. Abs are engaged. Don't turn off your abs just because a little weight is in your heel. Smiles are up. It is a beautiful Tuesday. At least it's not raining. Yes, it will probably still get muggy this afternoon. But more importantly, Maria and Kai come back today. Yay! Okay, now we're gonna reverse that. As your toes go down, they're gonna spread. As they go up, they're gonna come together. Spread, together, spread, together. Remember, don't use your nostrils or your hands to do what your toes should be doing. Spread, together, spread, together. Just notice which pattern's easier because you don't want to overuse one pattern when you have two. If you have two employees, you want to work them the same amount. You don't want to overwork one, or you should only have one employee instead of two. And we're gonna switch sides. So I had a friend, he had to hire an employee, but felt so bad that he was making his employee work that he did the work of the employee and himself, and he was actually more tired after he hired the employee. Keep those feet parallel. Abs are nice and tight. You're gonna curl your toes down and lift them up. Curl them down. As you curl them down, your toes come together. As you lift them up, your toes go apart. Together, apart, together, apart. Don't use your nostrils. Together, apart. Remember to breathe and smile up, chest up. First, second, third chakras are on. Look at all the things that can go wrong in your body if you don't practice. Just because the weight's a little bit in your heels, don't let your abs shut off. Keep your abs on nice and tight. Okay, now we're gonna reverse it. Toes spread as you go down, and then they come together as you lift them up. Spread, together, spread, together, spread, together. Abs are nice and tight. If you're doing this right, this is a sit-up. We also think we have to do sit-ups on our back. We don't. We do it functionally, and it integrates into our life. And this is as functional as you can get. All right, very nice. The ball goes just in front of your heel. Abs are nice and tight. We're gonna step onto the ball. This will be a fun one. Abs are nice and tight. It's gonna feel like you're on a high heel, and this is great. Lift up nice and tall, suck in your tummy, and swing your leg. Swing, 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 swing. Keep your abs engaged. Notice how your abs want to shut off and you will fall off balance. If your abs shut off, you won't want to take your leg back behind you because you're using your hip flexors instead of your abs. So make sure your abs are on so your leg can swing behind you, swing forward, swing back. Hold that balance. Eyes are up, smiles are up. Okay, switch sides. Ball's just in front of the ball of your foot. Oh. Sucking your tummy nice and tall. Create body shape and line. Here we go. Swing, 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 swing. So I have this uncanny ability. I have the ability to pick the worst tasting watermelon you can have in a million choices of watermelon. And I did it again last night, and it just, yeah. The thing was just not ripe. And it almost tasted salty. Okay, go ahead, come off the ball. See what the ground's starting to feel like underneath your foot. We are starting the whole process of connecting to our feet. So far, we've done most of it with our legs straight. We're eventually going to do some of it with our legs bent. But what you're going to do is take your ball and put it in front of your block. So it looks like a lowercase I. The ball of your foot will go on the block. Your heel will go, the ball of your foot will go on the ball. Your heel will go on the block. And we're gonna work the toes first. Make sure those feet are parallel. So get parallel first. We're gonna go into athletic ready postures. Both knees bend, abs are nice and tight. And you're gonna push down with the ball of your foot first. So you're crushing the ball with the ball of your foot. See what that feels like. Abs are engaged, chest is up, shoulder blades are down and back, and you're breathing. We are working athletic ready posture. We're working the front half of the foot like you're supposed to. So most animals other than humans have made this evolutionary adaptation of going on to their forefoot. In fact, they're usually hooved animals like horses. They're on their third finger and their third toe because there's such biomechanical return, and that's why horses and animals that are on four can run so fast. Animals such as like cheetahs, they're on their forefoot with their toes down and their thumbs up. Okay? Now that we've done this, we're going to reverse it. You're going to grab the ball with your toes only. Don't push down with the ball of your foot. Curl the ball with your toes. Sorry, my ball is making weird noises. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in that tummy. Chest is up. Squeeze a ball. Squeeze a ball. So this is getting you to use those flexors into the ground. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in your tummy. Okay, we're gonna go back to being weight heavy on the ball of your foot. Your toes are gonna lift. Because typically when we do labor, it's gonna be through the ball of your foot. Your toes are only for sensing the ground. They're not to do a lot of labor. So once you're in this position, we're just gonna do a little squat first to just get used to this. Abs are nice and tight. There's this athletic ready posture. Your chest is up, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and heart to the horizon. Smiles are up. 9, 10, good. Now, from here, keep pushing down on the ball. This is important. As you're pushing down on the ball, this is where we're lifting the toes up. We're gonna step up, we're gonna step down. Step up, step down. Abs are nice and tight. You should be using your butt. You should be using your quad, not your knee, and certainly not your ankle. Abs are engaged to protect everything. 9, 10. Okay, now you're gonna push down with your toes. We're gonna do the same exact thing. This time your toes are gripping. This would be like you're walking up something kind of treacherous and you have to grip your toes a little bit. Make sure your toes know how to work and you don't fall off balance just because you're using only your toes. Sucking your tummy. A 9 and a 10. Switch sides. So the ball just stays where it is. We're gonna put your right ball of your foot on the ball, heel on the block. Our feet are parallel. Notice how your feet wanted to turn out. Don't let them turn out. Abs are nice and tight. First, second, third chakra's on. We're gonna drive down with the ball of our foot. Keep your toes up. You're gonna feel what it feels like to work from the ball of your foot. It's always interesting when I used to teach martial arts, someone doing a front kick would always try to do with their toes. They're gonna break their toes. You have to kick with the ball of your foot so you don't break your toes. So, massive amount of work through the foot comes through the ball of the foot. Abs are engaged, chest is up, head's over the top of the pelvic floor. Okay, now you're gonna curl your toes down. You're not gonna push down so much as you're gonna squeeze with your toes. Make those toes work, all of them, not just one. Not your favorite one, not your nostrils, not your hands. It's gonna be your toes. Smiles are up. 9, 10, good. Now, we're gonna push down with the ball of our foot again as we do our squats. We're just gonna squat, make sure those knees go straight forward. You're in athletic ready posture. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy and you're pushing down with the ball of your foot. This would be you landing a jump that's kind of high. Land on the ball of your foot. Abs are nice and tight. Good. Now, you're gonna curl down your toes. Same thing, you're gonna squat. Feel what it feels like to engage the toes. Suck in the tummy. Keep breathing. Wolfie's over to the side snoring really loudly. And good. Once again, we are going to switch sides. You should feel your calves working in conjunction with your quads. If you don't feel your quads, you're not using your quads, and you're not making that transfer across your knee and you're overusing your foot. So really get your quads to fire up, and eventually you want to pull it into your butt. Okay, ball of the foot is on the ball, heels on the block. You're going to take your right foot back behind you. I'm going to line up with the camera better. Okay, there we go. Abs are nice and tight. Here's the important details. Knee is over the top of your foot. Make sure this knee stays over the top of your foot. Rear leg is straight. Abs are engaged. We're going to start out by crushing that ball again with the ball of your foot. This is more functional. Relax your hands, eyes up, smiles up. And good. Staying in this position, you're now going to squeeze with your toes. You should feel your quad working and your butt working, and that should make you really excited because you know you're using the right muscles. Suck in that tummy. 8, 9, 10. Okay, keep pushing down with the ball of your foot only. Abs are nice and tight. We're gonna hinge forward and we're gonna come back up. Now we're working it in conjunction with your quad and your butt because we're working muscles and not joints. That's the whole point of exercise. Exercise muscles and not joints. Joints will move, but we're gonna exercise muscles and joints muscles because joints take a really long time to recover. Muscles recover within 3 hours. Abs are nice and tight. And one. Okay, now you're gonna squeeze down with your toes. This time you are gonna use your toes. Same thing, you're gonna feel much more butt and hamstring connection as you do the same thing. Watch the alignment, knee over top of your foot. Suck in that tummy. Woo, you should feel your butt working. Good, let's switch sides. So that's why if you are doing the right thing and you walk on the sand, you should have a nice looking booty. But if you do it wrong, you're gonna have a flat butt, and that's you're like, why am I getting a flat butt? You'll get a flat butt and really wide feet that turn out because you're using the wrong muscle groups. So we're gonna do this again. The ball's under the ball of your foot, your heel is on the block, you're gonna take your left leg, whoa, back behind you. Hang on, this ball wants to get under my foot. Make sure that knee's over the top of your foot, rear leg is straight, abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy. We're first gonna push down with the ball of your foot. Feel what it feels like to work from there. And this should be making your quad, your butt, and a little bit your calf work. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking your tummy, chest is up. No pressure in your low back, cause we're working muscles and not joints. Okay, now you're gonna push down with your toes. You're gonna feel the difference between pushing down with the ball of your foot versus your toes. You should feel more butt working. Don't use your neck though. 9, 10, okay. Lift those toes up once again. Here we go. We're gonna hinge forward and then come back up. Watch the alignment, knee over top of foot. You're working your booty. You're working your quads. You're working your abs. You're working your lats. Suck in that tummy. Okay, now you're gonna push down with your toes. Toes, 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 toes. You're gonna feel a deeper engagement of your hamstring in your butt. And this is also how we work on those different muscle groups. Abs are nice and tight. So if you want to work on your hamstrings and you go to a weight room for whatever reasons, make sure your toes are pointed. You will work the hamstrings harder as you're feeling it right now. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy. Good. We start over. We're going to take the ball to behind the block. This is going to be like an exclamation mark. Okay, so your ball of your foot's on the block, your heel's on the ball, your abs are nice and tight. Make sure those feet are parallel. Just notice how your feet wanted to turn out. Don't get in that bad habit because if you're going to use them wrong, ligaments in your knee, and that's not good. Okay, so feet are parallel, abs are nice and tight, you're sucking your tummy. We're going to go in athletic ready posture. I mean, both legs are straight, you're long through the torso, your head's ready to go. Here we go. You're going to push down your heel. As you push down, watch the alignment on your knee, straight up, straight down. You're gonna feel your butt working much harder. Suck in your tummy. Feel what it feels like first to lift up your toes. Now drop your toes down, continue the same thing. 8, 9, 10, good. Now you're gonna take, what's this? Your right leg back behind you, your knees over the top of your foot. We're gonna lift the toes up first. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy. We're gonna hinge forward and come back up. You should feel much more work going into your butt. This is because you're being forced into your forefoot. And if you use your forefoot correctly, it makes you use your butt. It's not because there's pressure on the heel. Abs are nice and tight. Keep those toes up. 9, 10. Okay, now drop your toes down. We're gonna do the same thing with your toes down. Feel how different it feels? Feel the engagement of the hamstring. Keep the workout of joints, we're working muscles. And we're working big muscles, the quads and the butt, the hamstrings. We do chicken right. Abs are nice and tight, sucking your tummy. And good, we're gonna switch sides. Okay, ball of your foot is on the block. Your heel is on the ball. We start out in athletic ready posture with our feet parallel, our knees are bent, our abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy. We're gonna start out by crushing the ball with our toes up. You should feel your quad, you should feel your butt, major groups, not minor groups. Shoulder blades are down and back, abs are engaged, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and heart to horizon. Okay, drop your toes down, continue to do the same thing. You should feel your booty working. Abs. Very nice. Take that leg back behind you, straight. Rear heel is off the ground, knee is over the top of your foot. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking your tummy. We're gonna start out lifting up our toes, crush the ball. Crush it, crush it. Suck in that tummy. Drop those toes down, same thing. Okay, here we go. We're gonna hinge forward and then come back up. Hinge forward and then come back up. Just see what it feels like. Suck in that tummy. Toes are up. And now toes down. Oh, you should feel the engagement of the butt. Did I forget to do push down with the heel on the other side? Or did we? No, okay, good. That makes me happy. Makes editing a whole lot easier. Okay, good. Come back up to standing. You should feel athletic ready posture. You should feel no pain in any joints. If you feel in joints, it means you used your joints. You should almost naturally want to come into a squat and you feel like you want to just bounce for no particular reason. And that's because your legs are activated in the athletic ready posture. Suck in that tummy. We're going back to that hip circle, see what it feels like and how much easier it is. And now go in the opposite direction. Try not to move that head. That is amazing. So we've done different things with our feet now with both the legs straight and bent, okay? So we're gonna first do this, it's kind of crazy. We're gonna go on our left knee, right foot is forward, our favorite stretch. We're gonna stretch out the rectus femoris because that was a lot of work for a rectus femoris, so it's gonna feel kind of sore, which may give you a false sense of knee pain. It's not knee pain, your quads have tightened up. Okay, we're gonna stretch, let's do our little circles. Make sure that head's over the top of your body and you're moving from your hips, not from your head. Keep your abs engaged. This is a riding reflex in action. Your lower half of your body's in athletic ready posture, your knees are bent, your torso straight, and your head is not moving. Smiles are up. Now go in the opposite direction. Okay, now we stretch forward. We're gonna get that rectus femoris. We're opening it up, stretch forward, stretch back. No pressure in your low back. If you feel pressure in your low back, it means your abs have shut off. So kick them back on, keep the pressure out of your low back. Suck in that tummy. Okay, from here, you're just gonna wiggle your hips from side to side. Again, your head shouldn't be moving. Suck in that tummy. And here we go. We're gonna stretch. I'm gonna turn to the side, you guys stay forward. You're gonna reach back behind you, grab a hold of that foot. And we're gonna stretch. Pull that heel to your butt as you stretch forward. Abs are on, no pressure in your low back. No pressure in your knee. So if your knee's sore, tighten your hamstring, tighten your quad, tighten your calf. Suck in that tummy. Smiles are up. This is just fun. All right. Good. Really hard pull to your butt, your heel as you push forward one last time. Okay, we're gonna do that on the other side. Same thing, head over top of the block, abs are nice and tight. We're gonna do our hip circles. Whenever you're bored or you're just standing there, that's a great time to do hip circles, because it actually recalibrates the brain and body to get ready for movement. Abs are nice and tight, so we get out of a sedentary lifestyle back into a movement lifestyle. Go in the opposite direction. Sucking your tummies. Okay, here we go. We're gonna stretch forward, open up that rectus femoris. Feel no pressure in your low back. If you feel pressure in your low back, it means it's time to tighten your abs. Keep breathing. We're stretching muscles, not joints. Smiles are up. Okay, stay forward. I'm gonna angle off to the side. You're gonna grab a hold of that foot behind you. You're gonna pull your heel to your butt, and we're gonna stretch forward. See what it feels like to open up further this rectus femoris. No pressure in your low back, because we're super tightening up the abs. Smiles are up. Okay, now push forward, pull that heel to your butt really hard, chest up, abs on, sucking that tummy. Oh my goodness, it's raining. So much for a nice bright day. Whoo, deluge. Okay, maybe it's just where I'm at. It looks like everyone else is bright and sunny. Okay, go ahead, release your leg. Now we're gonna see the reason why we did it. You're gonna grab your ball. This one you will need your roller for, so put it in your left hand. Ball's gonna go underneath your right knee. You're allowed to put your toes down temporarily. We're gonna work on stability. Holy cow, it's raining. Abs are nice and tight. Now take your toes off the ground. Be very careful because you have to work with stability. So fire up your quad, fire up your butt on this side connected to your abs. This leg is giving you the stability, not the leg that's on top of the ball. And then you're gonna move your knee around. We're doing circles on top of the ball. You should feel this quad working really hard. You could put your hand on your knee. It's a lot of work. You're not cheating by putting your hand on your knee. If you want to make it harder, you can take your hand off. But you should feel the quad working hard. Okay, now go in the opposite direction because we gotta be able to do both. Otherwise you're like Zoolander, you can only turn right. Can't turn left. Abs are nice and tight, smiles are up. Okay. Okay, keep your toes off the ground. You're gonna bounce on that ball. You have to hold your core stable because that ball will do everything it can to throw you off. You have to work through this leg and your abs. You will be surprised how many athletes I've worked with that cannot do this. This is why they're injuring lower extremities. You should feel your butt working, your quad working on that right side. And good, let's switch sides. Knee is down, on top of the ball, get your balance first. Core on, first, second, third chakras are on. Eyes up, smiles up. Okay? we're gonna start out by moving our knee on top of the ball. That means your quad has to fire up, your butt has to fire up. Abs are nice and tight. Notice if one side's way easier than the other side. If it is, that's really problematic. You gotta balance this out. Don't use your mouth or your neck or your shoulders. Opposite direction. Woo, feel that quad working, feel your butte working. Okay, you're gonna point your toes and you're gonna bounce on top of that ball. Abs are nice and tight. You should be working your quad, butt connection to your abs. This is athletic ready. Activity on one leg. Notice what your foot's doing. It should be engaged too, giving you information about the ground and forces. All right, come back into standing, which should feel tremendously difficult because your legs should feel exhausted, but you have athletic ready posture again. So we're actually gonna do that. Hands and stick them up. Core is engaged. No pressure in your low back because your abs are engaged. Your butt's slightly sticking out. We're gonna do just little jumps, little lumps. Not big jumps, but it should be all in muscles. You shouldn't be rattling any joint. Your joint should stay connected when you leave the ground too. 9, 10. There you go. Feet are parallel again, hip circles. So in preparation for Marian and Kai coming back, I scrubbed the bathroom, the bathtubs, the toilets. Opposite direction, smiles are up. Okay, now we're gonna do what we usually do without anything underneath us. We're gonna take our left leg back behind you, right knee is out in front of you, right knee is over the top of your foot. Hands are off the rollers now, arms go back behind you, suck in your tummy. No pressure in your low back. Should be in your butt, your quad, your abs, your lats. Here we go. Hinge forward and then come back up. Oh, super easy now. You're working your butt muscle primarily. You're stabilizing with your abs. Straight spine. Smiles are up. Okay, staying in this position, take your left arm forward, right arm back. Majority weight is on that front leg. In fact, push forward a little bit more. Remember where your left foot is because you're always going back to the same spot. Lift and lower that rear leg. Ooh. Soft landing. We're working muscles, not joints. And good. We're switching sides. Oh, that should feel good on your butt and your quad. Set yourself up. Right leg is behind you, left leg is bent, knees over top of your foot. You're using your quad, your butt, abs and lats. Straight spine, bent knee, hinging from your hips. Here we go. Suck in that tummy. No pressure in your low back. If you do, push your hips back, tighten up your abs. And 10. Stay forward, shift the weight forward. Remember where your your right foot is. Right hand comes forward, left arm back. You're gonna lift and lower. Don't throw yourself forward. Your head doesn't move on this one. Abs. Good job, everyone. 8, 9, 10. Good. Come into standing. Your springs should be tired. Abs are nice and tight, hip circles. But it should feel a whole lot easier to do this hip circle without moving your head. Keep breathing. Woo, that rain just made it humid, humid, humid over here. Opposite direction. Is it starting to rain in your guys' places yet? A little bit. This has been the wettest July, I tell you. Okay. Watch his hands going to stick him up. We're gonna gently go onto our knees. So gently, gently. In fact, let's come back up to make sure we do the other side as gently. Gently, gently. Good. Have a seat. You can grab your blocks. We're gonna stretch backwards. We're gonna open up those quads again. Abs are nice and tight, chest is up. You're sucking in your tummy, and here we go, we're doing sit-ups. Suck in your tummy, release. Suck in your tummy, release. As you do, you'll notice that there's a stretch in your quads, and we like that. So as you see, we haven't got a curtain yet, but we still are getting a lot of use out of the psychedelic yoga mat. Okay, now lift your knees up off the ground. You're balancing on the front of your toes. Your toes should easily be able to manage this. Chest up, sit up, suck in your tummy, release. Suck, release, suck, release. Your toes gotta go both directions, not just one. Because that way you don't break your toes when you hit the coffee table or the bed leg late at night. And good. Now you're gonna curl your toes under. Push your heels back. So if you feel excessive pressure in those metatarsal heads, those are the knuckles of your toes, push, push, push your heels back. I'll get the pressure out and put the stretch where it's supposed to be. Okay, and what you'll notice immediately is your tummy wants to blow out. We're gonna do sit-ups here. You're sucking in your tummy, sucking in your tummy, sucking in your tummy. So there's a fundamental design flaw on our bed. The legs of the bed extend out further than the width of the mattress. So that means pretty much every night you walk to your bed, like when you're carrying Wolfie to the bed, you will slam your toes into the legs of the bed at our place. And the trick there is to not let your toes break and to freak out when you ran your toes into the legs of the bed yet again and not send Wolfie hurling into the air. Suck in your tummy, release, suck it in. Just a few more. This is a good one to do for a little bit longer anyways. Okay, good. You just take your toes back behind you, just kick them into the ground. They should be able to manage that really easily. Where'd my ball go? Oh, here it is. We're gonna do some pelvic floor work, ball on top of the block. We're gonna do it with a little bit of posture. You're having a seat on top of the ball that's on top of the block. The ball's midway between your pubic bone and tailbone. Not under your tailbone, that's not good. Abs are nice and tight, chest is up. Now, most important part, get your head over the top of the ball. That will give you ideal posture because we want, it's called the tentorium cerebri, and the faux cerebri in the brain, or falx cerebri in the brain. Anyways, these two membranes have to be over the top of your pelvic floor. So really visualize your head over the top of the ball as you now squeeze the ball, tighten your abs, squeeze the ball, tighten your abs. These are sit-ups. Nine, 10. Now you're gonna take your roller, put it behind your back. So the second you put that behind your back, did you notice your head wanted to come forward? You're gonna pull your head over the top of your pelvic floor once again. Abs are nice and tight, chest is open. We're gonna tighten your abs, release, tighten your abs, release. Keep your head over the top of your pelvic floor. Yeah, so the tentorium cerebri and the falx cerebri hold the brain in place. But they're diaphragms, just like your pelvic floor. So we need to strengthen it so your brain doesn't start dripping out of your skull through your foramen magna. That's a bad thing. Suck in your tummy, release, suck in your tummy, release. And as you do this, you should notice more blood flow going up towards your head, towards your brain. Okay, keep your roller behind your back as you twist, twist, twist. Keep your abs on. You don't have to move your head if you get dizzy easily. Okay. We're gonna do Annie's favorite. We're gonna take this roller and put it behind your head. As you grab the other half, put it against your sacrum. So it's opening up your shoulder, both shoulders actually. Now you're trying to get the roller against your butt and the back of your head without bending the roller, okay? You're gonna try to get this elbow back, and you're just gonna do simple twists. Twist, twist, twist. Abs are nice and tight. This is teaching you to keep your head over top of your pelvic floor without flexing your spine. And it's opening up your shoulders. Teaching you how to stand up straight. And then we're gonna switch. Get the roller against your butt and the back of your head. We'll wait for Annie. This will get you into good posture. This is why we do this, and you add your twist. So, while Mari was gone, I went out to dinner by myself. I actually like going out to dinner by myself because it's way better than watching television while you eat. Especially, I go when it's crowded and I listen to other conversations. And it is amazing what you hear. I'll tell you in a second. We gotta finish this exercise. Abs are nice and tight. And this is a common theme, and if you go out and watch yourself with friends, make sure you don't get in this habit. Abs are nice and tight. Ah, yes, doesn't that feel good? Your head knows where to be. Okay, last thing, we're gonna take this roller and we're gonna put it behind our heads. Okay, chest is up, shoulder blades are down and back. Okay, this one especially, you want to accidentally bring your head forward. Get your head over the top of your pelvic floor. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking your tummy, and you're twisting. So the thing that I heard that's really, it's prevalent, and I've heard it many times over many states and all sorts of different situations. After the initial greetings of hello, how are you doing, this and that, people immediately start talking about health ailments. People will start talking about their husband's diabetes or how they have neuropathy or how their arthritis is getting worse. So the whole reason for them coming together has nothing to do with seeing each other, but more about moaning and groaning about the aging process, or actually the improper conditioning of their body process that happens over time. Yeah, I listened to this woman talk about how she is self-medicating herself and upping her, we're gonna go side to side, her diabetic medication because she feels like she should be able to eat more sugar than she is. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a dream come true when you disregard what your physician says and you start abusing the substances that you're taking. Yeah, and they said the same thing about painkillers. Okay, shake out your arms. So we've worked the pelvic floor as we worked the upper body, so we're worked on athletic ready posture for being tall. So when we go out to dinner or lunch, I don't want to hear about your ailments. I want to hear the goals and achievement that you are heading your life towards. Okay, let's take our right leg forward. Abs are nice and tight. You're pulling that knee into your chest as you lift your heart up. Once you get this feeling, tighten your abs. We're gonna do a few sit-ups here. Suck in your tummy, release. Suck it in, release. Again, you don't need to be on your back to do sit-ups. And these are more shape changing than doing them on your back anyways. Suck in that tummy, release. Suck in your tummy, release. Okay. Elbow crosses midline. So you're not heading towards your knee, you're crossing the plane of your knee. This will create twist. I want you to activate your abs. These are still sit-ups. Nine, 10. Try to stay here. It's going to be a weird feeling. Try to keep your knee over the top of your foot as you lift your leg up and down. This should be from your abs, not from your back. Smiles are up. Good job. We're going to switch sides. So when you work the feet, you should work the pelvic floor because the pelvic floor and the feet work together. So if you have foot problems, you have pelvic floor problems. If you have pelvic floor problems, you have foot problems. So urinary incontinence, foot problems. Foot problems, probably have pelvic floor problems. Abs are nice and tight. Sucking your tummy, shoulder blades are down and back. Same thing, we're crossing midline. Sucking that tummy. Chest out. Okay, keeping your knee over, or elbow over the top of your knee, you're going to lift and lower your knee. You should not feel this in your back, you should feel this in your abs. You should not feel this in your hip flexors, you should feel this in your abs. Okay, good. Both feet come forward. So there's two benefits for this next exercise. It's a ballistic strengthening of your pelvic floor, but it's also getting you to jump with minimum stress in your joints. Chest is up, we're in athletic ready posture. Look at it, our feet are parallel, our knees are bent, abs are engaged, we're long through the torso, and our righting reflex is on. So here we go, strengthen your pelvic floor, work athletic ready posture as you bounce. But try to bounce as fast as you can. Fast, 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 fast. It's not boing, boing. It's like fast, 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 fast. So you got to use your legs to pull you down as well as push you up. Arms over the top of your head. Keep breathing. Stay engaged. Okay, take your arms back behind you. Chest up, head over the top of the ball. I know when your arms go back behind you, you want to move your head forward. Don't. Okay, good. Hands on your knees. We're going to go into recovery position. So we're going to go into here. Keep your pelvic floor on. Keep your spine straight. I know it's easy to round your spine. I want you to keep it sticking out. Now I want you to tighten your abs. Tighten your abs. We're going to do sit-ups here. Tighten your pelvic floor. Close up your rib cage. Suck in your tummy. Just gather everything together in that midsection. Shoulder blades are down and back. Chest is up. Okay, so we've been low, so our blood pressure is low, standing, but we're gonna do one activity here. You're gonna keep your butt sticking out, no pressure in your low back. If you feel any pressure in your low back, taking your hands off your thighs, that means your abs have shut off. Tighten your abs, and then you're gonna take your leg across midline. Your feet are parallel. You're sucking in your tummy. We're gonna do just 5. You're gonna touch the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure your feet are lifted, arches are up. 5. Stay in this position. You're gonna bend the straight in the rear leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back onto your knees in recovery position. Okay, same thing on this side, cross midline, feet are parallel, abs are nice and tight. We're gonna do 5, you're gonna touch ground. 1, straight spine. 2, no pressure in your low back. 3, 4, 5. Okay, abs are engaged, straight spine, bend and straighten your rear leg for 2, 3, 4, 5. Back into recovery position. Okay, we're gonna come down onto our knees softly. I'm gonna move the microphone. Where's my ball? We're just gonna do some, we've done a lot of abs without knowing it. We're gonna do just some ab exercises. Your feet are down, your hands are back behind you. Simple, simple, simple ab exercise. Shoulder blades are down and back, chest is up. You're gonna tighten your abs, release. Tighten your abs, release. Stay connected with your abs. See how when you tighten your abs properly and you connect to your pelvic floor, your arches of your feet lift up. Isn't that crazy? So, when I see flattening of the arches, I know there's an abdominal connection that's being lost. Now we're gonna add your quads. So fire your quads as you tighten your abs. And it's really important to be able to contract the different muscle groups intentionally. I saw this jogger and she was just twitching and cramping all over the place. That's called unintentional involuntary cramping. That is not called exercise. Though I'm sure the next day her muscles were well used, but it's a sign of weakness actually. So she went out beyond her athletic threshold and her body went into complete fatigue. Okay, straighten your legs. We're gonna do the same exact thing. Tighten your abs, tighten your quads, tighten your pelvic floor. Try to pop the ball with your spine by tightening your abs. Chest is up, head's up. Change the shape of your abdomen. If you're doing this correctly, you should feel cramping on the inside of your abdomen and not on the surface, because we're getting those deeper muscles like the transversus. We like that. Okay, last thing, we're gonna stay in this position so arms are straight. Arms are off the ground, legs are straight. We're gonna just go for a little walk, opposite hand to opposite foot. Do not bend your knee to lift up your leg. We gotta get to used to lifting our legs in long lever. Suck in your tummy. Woo! Smiles are up. This is just fun. Okay, good. You're gonna lay across your ball and then rock from side to side. You're opening up your low back. So if you feel pressure in your low back, that means you accidentally used your psoas muscle. That's not so good. If you feel pressure in the front of your hips right here, that means you use your iliacus muscle and maybe your rectus. But if you feel tightness down the middle and what would be your six pack, that means you use rectus abdominis, and that's great. Side to side. Open everything up. You guys keep rocking. I'm just gonna change out the music. You guys have done an amazing amount of very intricate work, which should make your feet feel a whole lot better. Okay, come off the ball, come onto your roller now. Butt is gonna be on one end, head is at the other end. We do this to recalibrate the central nervous system. Make sure the head's on top of the ball. This is where we integrate everything that we've done. So I want you to feel your feet be in parallel. Don't look at them in the parallel, feel them in the parallel. Feel the alignment of knees over the tops of your feet. Feel what it feels like to have your head over the top of your pelvic floor. Feel what it feels like to close up your rib cage, and feel what it feels like to activate your abs, to get your spine against the rollers, squeeze your shoulder blades down and back, and just breathe. We have integrated a lot of things. So as you're laying on your back, we're gonna play the piano with your toes. I want you to feel what it feels like to push down with your big toe of both feet, and then your little toe of your feet. Then your second toe, and then your fourth toe. Your third toe, and your pinky toe. Your big toe, and the fourth toe. Just try every combination of working your toes touching the ground. Notice which toes don't work. Notice which toes want to curl up in order to work and can't stay long to just make contact with the ground. Notice how it influences your pelvic floor or knee alignment or even quad activity? Because the toes signal other muscle groups. Then you could do a scale. You could start from your little toe and go to the big toe, then big toe to the little toe, activating each toe along the way. As I've talked about before, in the 1950s, there was a drug called thalidomide, and thalidomide caused children to be born with no arms. And what we found out is the feet, and I've had a client who was a thalidomide baby. Your feet could do exactly the same thing as your hands can do. And I shook his foot and it felt exactly like a hand. I watched him fill out all my paperwork. It was an amazing process. Just feel it. Keep breathing. In fact, one of my favorite race car group is called Hendrix Motors, and their chief engineer, who designs all the engines and cars and drives them around, he has no arms. He only has feet and legs. Okay? You guys can just rest now and breathe. Feel what it feels like to come into center now that you've anchored your feet. A ship will feel stable if it's well anchored. The human body will feel the same way if the anchoring in the feet is there. Just notice what breathing is like now, because that's the diaphragm of your feet, which will influence the diaphragm of breathing. You guys stay on your roller. I'm going to come off to bring you guys home. So now you've seen what the feet and what they're responsible for and how much they influence. Which is kind of interesting because the bones of the feet are tiny, 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 tiny. All you have to do is look at a model of the foot and you're like, gosh, the little toes, the bones are tiny. And it's because they're sensitive for feeling. And what the foot is supposed to do is feel the earth, impact the earth, but immediately transfer that work to your hips through your knees. That's why the knees are the biggest joint, because they're a transfer conduit. It's a binary switch, on or off, flex or extended. So as you're anchoring into your feet, I want you to really connect to that breath to find your center. And then just find your way to meditation. Because if you think about it, all meditation really is listening, receiving, and appreciating. So on behalf of Maria, who's on her way home, and me, we'd like to say we appreciate you for being here. All you support us, all that you do, all the things you're willing to try, and the way you support us. Thank you, and namaste.